Hi guys, your latest news to Abuja, Nigeria. Guys, around this August 12th, so 2026, Hollywood actress she turned into evangelist to that's to Dikeh now. She has taken another major step in her public declared Christian journey with the launch of a new faith-based ministry. It's a new faith-based ministry, so its title is called the New Wine Prophetic Tabernacle. That is NWPT in Abuja. There is indeed development where it has marked a significant new phase in the life of the popular actress. So this girl, she has received Christ. She has increasingly shifted public attention from her entertainment career to prayer, also evangelism, spiritual teaching, and Christian service. Tonto Dikeh has announced the establishment of the new Wine Prophetic Tabernacle on Sunday, describing it not simply as another conventional church, but also as a spiritual gathering which is designed for Christians who are seeking deeper fellowship with God and let them come there and worship. Also, spiritual renewal and a more intentional Christian life, according to what many reporters say now. This ministry is expected to hold weekly fellowship meeting every Friday at 6 p.m. at Omini Grand Hotel, formerly known as Alazis Hotel, located upstairs by Masalasha Junction in Jabi, Abuja. This are new church comes after months of a highly published transformation in Dike's spiritual life for years now. This Tonto Dikeh she was everybody know her as primarily for her career in Nollywood acting and the rest, while she became one of the industry recognizable actresses after rising to prominence in the mid 2000. In 2026 now, however, she began public presenting herself in a different capacity, increasingly describing herself as a woman of faith and also an evangelist. In March, Dikeh announced that she will no longer be addressed by her long-standing nickname, that is King Tonto Dikeh. She said that this decision will made obedience to what she described as instruction from the Holy Spirit and asked people to refer to her as Evangelist Tutu instead of King Tutu. This woman of God, that's Tonto Dikeh now, Auntie Tutu or Big T. So either you address her as Evangelist Tonto, the woman of God, or Tonto Dikeh, Auntie Tonto, or Big T. That declaration was widely interpreted as a public symbol of the transformation she said she's taking place in her life. This transformation is the Holy Spirit, according to what she said. Her latest movie into this ministry therefore represents a continuation of that journey rather than an isolated announcement. Unlike this, their traditional understanding of a church with a permanent congregation and conventional administrative structure, Dikeh has reportedly described that this their new wine prophetic tabernacle as a spiritual gathering and meeting point for committed Christian. As for committed Christian, all those special Christian are really dedicated to this thing. They have special place for gathering and the rest. These are initiatives is intended to encourage believers to pursue a deeper relationship with God while focusing on prayer, also their revival, spiritual awakening, purity, and personal transformation. So Dikeh emphasized that this NWPT as New Wine Prophetic Tabernacle is not just structured as a conventional church, but as a gathering for people who desire spiritual growth and a more deliberate faith journey. This distinction is important because it helps to suggest that Dikeh immediate vision may be centered more on fellowship, including prayer and spiritual mobilization, than on establishing a traditional denominational church. These are ministries stated that focusing include bringing Christians together across denominational boundaries and encouraging them to become more devoted to their lives. This new ministry is expected to have a physical presence in Abuja through its weekly gathering. According to the report, so their fellowship meetings will take place every Friday at 6 at Omini Grand Hotel, formerly Alice's Hotel, around this Malisha Junction in Jabi, Abuja. This threshold of Abuja is also significant because Nigeria Federal Capital Territory has become an important centre for Christian activities, including religious conference, prayer meeting and the rest.
That even surely and your rock of God will never leave you alone. God will set strong men and strong women to be by your side. Said all of you to say things that even surely and your rock of God will never leave you alone. God will set strong men and strong women to be by your side. Say things that even surely and your rock of God will never leave you alone. God will set strong men and strong women to be by your side.
For Tonto Dikeh establishing this fellowship in Abuja, so it provides a physical platform through which an increasingly visible online ministry can also move into regular expressions meeting. These are transitions that draw different attention from the public because these are contrast between our former life and this our current one. So she has spent years building a successful career in Nollywood and who became known for her roles in Nigerian film as well as different parts, a highly visible personality outside the film industry. People consider that part. Her public life also extended beyond acting into philanthropy. Also, there is social advocacy and politics. However, these are activities since late 2025 have increasingly centered on Christianity. In December 2025, Dikeh publicly shared a testimony as a program associated with Streams of Joy International in Abuja, where she spoke about her personal struggles and described what she regarded as a major spiritual transformation. Tonto Dikeh swear she subsequently became increasingly involved in church activities and also spiritual programs, guys. By February 2026, she had also announced that her graduation from a discipleship class at Stream of Joy International, led by Pastor Jerry Eze. She also said that she had become involved in the church temple, this church temple keepers department, and was participating in voluntary services with the church. This development provided an important background. By February 2026, Tonto Dikeh she had announced that her graduation from a discipleship class of Stream of Joy International, led by Pastor Jerry Eze. She also said that she had become involved in the church's temple keepers department and that she was participating in voluntary service within the church. These are developments provided an important background to her subsequent emergency as an evangelist. A central theme in the Dikeh recent public testimony has been personal transformation. Guys, this transformation is one in time. Like it's not ordinary itself. She has spoken that openly about difficult experiences from her past and presented her Christianity journey as a process of restoration and spiritual renewal. In March, our Premier Times reported that Dikeh spoke about her past at a women's prayer conference in Tanzania. During the event, she described her former life in stark spiritual terms and said that she believed God had restored her and also redirected her towards preaching the gospel. Her public testimony has become an important part of the message. She now communicates rather than presenting herself as someone whose past was completely separate from her present identity. This Tonto Dikeh has repeatedly used her experience as evidence of what she believes is the transformation of power of faith. This is so approach like this approach so appears to be reflected in the philosophy behind the new wine prophetic tabernacle. One of the recurring themes associated with this decades story that the new spiritual identity has been the idea that our past can become part of our testimony. When announcing her decision to drop the king to that is her former name, so she described herself as moving into a new season and spoke about being taken away from old things into what she believed were God's purpose for her life. This development of the NWPTM can therefore be seen as another expression of that message. For Tonto Dikeh this her ministry is not merely about changing careers. It is all about creating a platform through which she can share the faith that she says transform her own life. Even before this her launch of NWPT, Tonto Dikeh activities as an evangelist had also attracted substantial attention online though, but it was not very common like that. She has also shared prayers. Everybody was even thinking maybe they were just doing it normal things. But now she also shared prayers, Christian teaching and messages with her social media followers and has participated in evangelist activity outside conventional churches. One of these their most controversy the incident occurred in March when she conducted a deliverance session involving a school girl during a Christian outreach. This episode generated criticisms online with some people questioning the circumstances surrounding the intervention. This Tonto Dikeh response that they about this their critics wey they were criticizing everything that by saying that she would not allow public mockery or criticisms to stop her from carrying out what she considered that God gave to her as assignment. This episode demonstrated that this a level of public scrutiny that is likely to accompany her new ministry. Her transition is taking place in the full glory of the Nigerian public where her fame as an actress means that virtually every new stage of her spiritual journey is likely to attract significant attention. This her new wine prophetic tabernacle is expected to place considerable emphasis on prayer and also spiritual revival. According to this announcement guys, its objective is to inspire believers to develop deeper relationship with God and also live with greater devotion, purity and purpose. This ministry also seeks to encourage spiritual awakening across the denomination lines. This emphasis place the initiative within a broader Nigerian Christian culture. This broader Nigerian culture prayer meeting that is prayer meeting prophetic gathering, revival programs and spiritual fellowship dey play a prominent role here. However, in dis Tonto Dikeh celebrity status gives NWPT a different level of visibility Pipu who may previously have followed her because of Nollywood entertainment or her public personality may now encounter through dis normal preaching, prayer and the rest. Imagine dat kind transition. Dis establishment of the new church dat is NWPT is significant for several reasons First if we want to look it in dis way, it helps to demonstrate how fast Tonto Dikeh publicly declare spiritual transformation has progressed. Dis thing it began with testimonies, church participation, discipleship and evangelistic activities has now developed into the establishment of a dedicated spiritual gathering. Secondly It represents a major evolution in our public identity, guys. For years now, this King Toto, that is our previous name rather, was strongly associated with Dike's entertainment personnel. Our decision so to abandon that identity and embrace its new title of evangelist was therefore more than a change in terminology. This name, the new wine, carries strong Christian symbolism, commonly associated with renewal, freshness, and a new spiritual season. For Tonto Dikeh, this name too fits closely with the transformation narrative she has repeatedly shared throughout 2026. These are decisions so to leave behind the king's total identity and embrace the title of evangelist, complete discipleship training, and now establish a spiritual fellowship which can be viewed as a series of development within the same broader narrative. This ministry so name therefore appears consistent with her message of entering what she considered as a new phase of her life. This will then, like the immediate future of the new wine prophetic tabernacle, will likely depend on how successful it builds a regular community around a stated mission. With Friday meeting, so that is they normally will meet every Friday. They have to provide a starting point, but also sustain growth will depend on factors such as the quality of its teaching, organization, consistency, community engagement, and the ability to maintain its stated focus on prayer, also spiritual growth and revival. To decay celebrity status could give the ministry substantial initial feasibility, but long-term influence will ultimately depend on what develops beyond the public surrounding its launch. For now, however, these are establishment of the new wine prophetic tabernacle. So it represents another significant milestone in our remarkable 2026 transformation from a celebrity like from a celebrated Nollywood actress to a woman publicly identified as an evangelist, guys, and now the founder of a spiritual fellowship in Abuja, that is in Tonto Dikeh, is entering a new chapter that is likely to remain closely watched by both the entertainment industry and Nigerian Christian community. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to always stay updated by subscribing, liking, ringing the notification bell, and sharing.